Teslas are the safest cars in the world. Take a look at this. Driver was not harmed. And it was going at highway speeds, crashed into a truck. Or this here, take a look at this. Bad accident to the Tesla. The driver was not injured. Or take a look at this. The car hit a pole, 2 trees, and a telephone box, and the driver only suffered minor injuries. How is that even possible? Or this here, a truck hit the Tesla from a side. This is the truck, and here's the damage to the car, and maybe in almost any other car you would be severely injured. It was a big impact. Tesla drivers are so safe because Teslas are literally the safest cars ever tested by NHTSA. Look at the chart here. All top cars are Tesla vehicles. You see, Teslas refuse to roll over. See what happens here? They just do not roll over. Take a look here again. It does not roll over. Take a look here. It does not roll over. Take a look here. It does not roll over, including SUVs, which are notorious. Any other car brand notorious for rolling over. And even when it does roll over, the root strength is exceptional. Rollovers occur in only about 3% of all serious crashes, but they account for about 30% of people killed. That's why rollover protection is so important. That's why Teslas are so safe, but there is more. A lot more, actually. But this Mercedes C-Class has twice of the chance of a rollover compared to an equivalent model from Tesla. And one of the reasons for those low chance of rollovers is because there is low center of gravity due to batteries. Also, electric motors are much more smaller and they take a lot less space, as you can see here. But there's so much more we haven't even started yet. For example, here you see Model 3 from Tesla and Lexus ES, very safe vehicles. And in the Tesla, you basically get all the impact absorbed. While in the Lexus, the impact goes straight through the roof and maybe in your head, but in the Tesla it gets distributed, therefore making the car so much more safer and protecting you from side impacts, which are very deadly. And this particular Lexus received a 5-star safety rating, so it's supposedly assumed as a very safe vehicle. But as we see here, there's no comparison between Tesla and the Lexus. Teslas also have enormous crumble zones which absorbs all the shock before that gets to you, making them very safe. If you doubt that simulation, here's a real world Model 3 after a crash. And again, the driver was all right. Just take a look at here where you have Audi A4 and Model 3 and see how in the Audi, the engine moves. Take a look again. Model 3, because there's no engine, it just crumbles, it absorbs the impact. And the Audi, the engine could potentially move through the car's firewall, injuring the driver critically. And yet there's a lot more still. Tesla is the #1 most attractive company for engineering students, and that gives Tesla insane advantages when it comes to safety. They can do some pretty ridiculously stunning things. Let me show you.
At Tesla, we even update the software to improve how the airbags deploy. So we'll calculate, are you an adult? Like, how much do you weigh? Are you sitting in this part of the seat or that part of the seat? Are you maybe a baby? Are you a toddler? Are you...
Based on the weight?
Yeah.
So the seat...
not just the weight, but the pressure distribution on the seat. So we're measuring the pressure distribution. Are you sitting on the edge of your seat? Are you a 5th percentile female, a 95th percentile male? The airbag firing will be different depending upon where you're sitting on the seat and what size you are and what your orientation is.
Really?
Yeah. And we'll update it over the air. So it even gets better over time.
So a child could conceivably sit in the front seat?
Unbelted child sitting in a bad position, probably still fine.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's dynamically updating the airbag firing according to where you're sitting, how much you weigh.
And yet there's still a lot more. Tesla has the best active features for preventing crashes. Take a look at this. The car is going and this is no braking. It's all up to the car. The car did all that braking by itself. And all those things were because Tesla has the best engineers and the best talent. And still there's so much more. Take a look at this again. So there's a car and almost an accident there, but the accident was avoided, but the car spins out of control. This is basically what happens with almost any car. Roll over, spin out, bad. ugly, accident, damage, injuries. Most cars, even pretty sporty cars, spin out really easily like this. They lose control quite easily in bad situations, and then roll over, and then injury. Ugly. But with Teslas, because we are engineered from ground up to be electric, the low center of gravity is really there, and also you have instant power. So if you do need to accelerate and stop the process of spinning out, the wheels can put power exactly to the wheel that needs power and then brake another wheel, and that results in a very smooth driving. And I experienced that myself at highway speeds where I had a very close call where I had to dodge something and the car restored itself very easily. You always feel under control. Well, some of the magic is because Tesla is electric, but this BMW is electric too. And take a look, Tesla has a frunk, which gives it a lot more crumble zone, makes it safer in a front collision impact. And how about the BMW fully electric car? There's a frunk, no frunk. Why? Because this car has been built as a gasoline car from the ground up, and then that gasoline body has been converted to an electric body. And that makes a big impact on the safety. It makes the car heavier if it's built from a ground up to be a gasoline car, not electric. There's no structural protection for the battery, which Tesla is actively changing right now, and it's going to make the car lighter, more safe. Again, more safe as it is already. It's going to be even more safe when they change to a structural battery pack, which they haven't done until now, and yet still it's so much safer already. So if you're thinking about buying another electric car over than Tesla, while it's probably better in terms of safety than any other gasoline car, it's still not even a comparison with any of the Teslas. But the biggest advantage of Teslas has not even been developed yet. Let me show you this data which Tesla voluntarily makes public. So as you can see here, this is Q4 2018 data of crashes. In the fourth quarter, we registered one accident for every 2.91 million miles driven on autopilot. While in the meantime, by comparison, NHTSA's most recent data shows that in the US, there is an automobile crash every 436,000 miles. That's a big difference. Now, autopilot miles are usually done on highways where driving is easier, so a really fair comparison would be right here for those driving without autopilot and without our active safety features. We registered one accident for every 1.25 million miles driven. So this would be a more accurate comparison. There are less accidents because lower center of gravity makes the car very easy to control, and even then there is an impact, you're not going to be as injured if you even are going to be injured at all. Now let's compare this data to some of the more recent data. Keep this number in mind. 2.91 million miles driven while autopilot is engaged, 2018. And let's take a look at 2019. 3.07. That's better. Let's take a look at some of the most recent data from Q4 from 2021, right here. 4.31 million miles driven in which drivers were using autopilot technology where a crash happened. Tesla is improving its software at such an unprecedented rate. I have a Mercedes, I have a Tesla. The Tesla, in my 1 year of ownership, it updates every 2 weeks or something. It's so often. There's a Mercedes supposedly, which I also had for 1 year, also updates over the air. And when there was a safety concern for the car, it tried to update itself. It's an official recall and it failed. I had to take the car into the dealer for them to update the software. Why can't they figure that out? I may ask. Tesla is already beating everyone, not just in electrifying vehicles, but also safety, software, everything that you can literally think of. So from this data, Teslas are clearly getting better. Their features, safety features are clearly getting better every single year, and it will keep better to a point where driving on autopilot or later full self-driving will be so much more safer than human driving that I believe at some time in the future it will be outlawed to drive by yourself because you are so much more likely to get into an accident and kill someone. Whereas opposed full self-driving software later when it gets really good, which I believe it's still not exactly very close, but it's coming and it's getting better every single year. And I really believe it is inevitable. It's just a matter of time before that happens. It will take some time, but it's inevitable. And if you're going to buy a car, why would you buy anything else over than a Tesla right now in terms of safety, but not just in terms of that. Performance and features, the car gets better over time. Any other car, it gets worse. The more you drive it, it gets worse. Teslas get better. And if you're worried about the autopilot safety, remember the full self-driving is in beta. Autopilot is more like advanced cruise control. Full self-driving is basically where the car supposedly drives itself, but it is still in beta and it gets better every single month, noticeably. And take a look at this. A tweet from Ross. Just to note, there has not been one accident or injury since FSD beta launched, which was a year ago. Not one, not a single one. In that time, 20,000 people have died on the road in car accidents. Elon Musk replied, correct, that is correct data, according to Elon Musk. So I don't believe anyone should be worried about FSD's full self-driving safety because clearly it's in beta and you have to pay full attention while your car is engaged on it. It's still in beta, but it's getting better every single month. And I believe Tesla will solve full self-driving the quickest. That's why I only own Tesla stock. I don't own any other publicly traded stocks. I'm all in Tesla. However, there have been attempts to discredit Tesla's safety, especially full self-driving software, and I'm making another video. Click here to watch about this. It's really a shame. It's just my opinion, but I really think some bad things are going on here. Watch the next video here. My name is Matt. Post it, subscribe for regular updates on Tesla, full self-driving, Tesla stock, investing, money, all with a focus on Tesla. Thank you very much.